Дорогие друзья, добро пожаловать на канал. Сейчас мы включим Геншин, потому что... да. Genshin Impact. You know? Так. Здорово, человек без усов. Привет, Фирс. Здравствуй. Как всегда, самый первый и, как всегда, самый любимый. Открой, пожалуйста, мне приложение. Как твои дела? Так, что за RG? Что? А? Что значит RGX? Я не знаю, что это значит. Нажать на кнопку, интересно? Не буду. Ладно. Все круто, выбил C6 по 5 линий. Что значит по 5? Что это значит? R? R5? Что значит R5? Ну, C это созвездие. А R это... Что? Пробуждение сигна? Так при чем тут... А какая у него сигна? Оружейки сейчас, которые... Чем ли? Сейчас у меня игра загрузится. Поэтому развлекай меня пока она загружается. На приватном сервере? Что? Ты, кажется, поехал уже совсем. Ну да ладно. Бывает. И вопросы. Так. Малей.
Still talking to the guards. It seems he'll have a lot of explaining to do. I think someone will be assigned to monitor us later, but...
Блять, какой снимок, ты долбоёб? Ага, Исильдор.
I see that you're investigating the area. Well, if you find any new and interesting leads...
We don't have too many thoughts yet.
Then why don't I tell you my hypothesis first?
The thud? Oh, you mean the sound that happened during the countdown?
Yes, exactly. It wasn't terribly loud, but I suspect that most people heard it. It's just that everyone was awaiting the results of Lenny's trick with bated breath. So no one paid it much mind.
That makes...
I'm of the opinion that it may have been the sound of Lenny's accomplice. Lynette, perhaps. jumping atop the water tank or something like that. And when the pyrotechnics went off, she cut the rope, sending the water tank crashing down.
But wasn't the noise we heard too loud for that?
Perhaps the balance wasn't right, leading to a particularly rough landing. Oh, that's true.
That does remind Paimon though.
Strange sound. Я вынюхаю это дело. Ибо я... детектив Нарт 369. Ты кто?
Hello there. What?
Oh, this location has also been cordoned off because the Magic Troop members are currently considered prime suspects. The seats were all booked in advance, so we were able to deduce the missing woman's identity by checking the guest list. Sure, it's not like this is confidential information. We will publish it later anyway. Her name is Halsey. She's a painter from Fontейне who's made a bit of a name for herself. Apparently, she wasn't a regular at the Opera House, but she'd been feeling some pressure with her work lately, which made her decide to come see the magic show. The Magic Troop members all claim not to know her. We have looked into her social connections. It seems that she has no personal grievances or conflicts of interest with the suspects. Simply put, she wasn't related to the Magic Troop at all, which matches the features of the previous serial disappearances.
Were the victims of previous cases also chosen at random?
That's how it seems to us, in any case. Apart from the fact that they were all young women of around the same age range, there really weren't any other connections between them.
Okay then.
No need to be so formal. If you do happen to see the missing girl, please be sure to contact us.
Что это за кнопка? Ага, понял.
It is of utmost importance
Что
to
она
get to the bottom
пропала?
of these disappearances.
Тут двери открываются, нет? Understandable. Мне не нравится этот звук.
So this is the rope that broke and caused the water tank to fall. The rope looks pretty durable.
Иди нахуй.
How can it be burned through so quickly by fireworks? Why are you suddenly so serious, traveler? Whoa. Look! This bit is made from different material. Most of it was burned away, but there's still a little bit of it left.
Flash copy.
So if a rope meant to hold something was made with that kind of material in it... Wait! Why don't you write all this down? What?
Suddenly broke. Бля. 41% бонуса ХП. Этот же другой меч. Нила Лайла. Другой меч же 60 дает. Что-то Сигна не помню уже. Да. 4 звездочки, ну да, понимаю. Да, круто. Как он выпал? Конечно, really hard. Здесь около 2,5 тонн воды.
The investigation team has some new findings. Turns out there's an issue with the random...
See, I told you. What if the machine picked some big guy's seat? You think the murderer would have still made his move?
Sorry to interrupt, but we're helping Lenny and Lynette with their side of the investigation. What were you saying about the number selector? There's something wrong with it?
You're trying to help them? That'll be...
Lenny used the machine to pick a random member of the audience during his performance, right? The lucky girl that later disappeared. Well, we thought there might be a serious problem with the machine, so we had it taken away for further inspection.
It turns out that the seat number it picked wasn't random at all. The machine... I'm sure you already know that you have to make a reservation in advance to get a seat. In other words, Lenny knew who would be sitting where from the very beginning.
That much checks out. Lenny reserved...
Let you see why I was saying it'd be tough to make a case for Lenny.
Even though it's bad for Lenny's case?
Что если это был... Это был сам чел, который сдох. Вау, как я много узнал от этого взаимодействия. Боже мой. Так, ну, что можно сказать? Рид.
Whoever the murderer was, they must have made preparations well beforehand. This rope was obviously people needed to register and reserve a seat for this. Why would it be him? How strange. Gosh, no wonder the serial... We all heard that noise.
Нихуя себе, там еще 9 штук, я ебал. Фирс, ты тоже в цирке, я ваш верный клоун, ёпта, поэтому да. Наслаждайся. Мне это что-то напоминает, мне это напоминает Бэтмена. Почти. Только я за бесплатно работаю, блядь. Пока что. Кстати, точно я хотел. И я хочу запостить, типа... Fierce. Что? Да ну, блядь, ну подожди.
Hey, you! Yes, both of you! Over here! I've been keeping an eye on you for a
Нихуя
while
себе. Что это такое? Я не ожидал этого увидеть. Это типа Пайман с очками и усами. Это типа я. Такой весь крутой.
You mean us?
Пайман. Просто милашка.
That's right. If I'm not mistaken, you're also among those who wish to cut down the thorns and pursue
Oh
the truth.
my.
No. And by the looks of it, you're not from Fontaine.
Well, you're right on the moor about that one, but who are you?
Ну кто ты? Ты кто вообще? Ты кто? Я думал, что она будет как Фишель.
Have you never heard of the Spina di Rosula?
Спина Расула. Ах, да. Блять. Чё? Расул. Что
From mediating disputes and providing protection to solving conundrums. You name it. Spina di Rosula does it.
А,
And I, Navia, have the honor of being its renowned president.
господин президент.
Though those who play by our rules call me boss.
А можно я буду называть тебя госпожа?
I'm Silver, her attendant. Pleased to meet you.
Сильвер.
And I'm Melus. Demoiselle's various daily needs and affairs.
Демуазель. Что значит демуазель? Я знаю мадемуазель, но демуазель я не знаю.
Boss, Demoiselle, what gives you the names?
Well, I am the second generation president.
Демуазель. Что это значит?
Still used to my previous title.
My apologies, Demoiselle. Should you prefer, boss, I will endeavor to use that instead.
Хз.
No, no need. You don't have to call me boss. Just Navia is fine.
Блять, я не могу с Пайман.
Okay, if you say so. Not that we're members of Spina di Rasula anyway.
All merely trifling details. Never mind. Now, back to the situation at hand.
Демуазель, девушка, девица, барышня. Женщина благородного происхождения. Ничего себе, спасибо, Фирс, образовательный стрим, ёпта.
Right. I've always kept an eye on the serial disappearance cases. My interest stems from a matter back from my father's time. Judging from the look of things, I find Lenny an unlikely mastermind.
Really?
Реально.
We think so too. That's why we're looking for clues now. But how did you come to that conclusion?
Intuition, naturally.
Интуиция.
My unparalleled intuition.
Хоть за сиську.
Farina sure was quick to point the finger at Lenny without any decisive evidence whatsoever, wasn't she?
Приложите сиську к экрану, пожалуйста. Ладно, так.
But that's not uncommon for her. If you remember, the justice had to interrupt her and ask if she was pressing charges just to keep her from getting carried away. Anyway, a trial begins the moment someone levels charges. And, of course, there was no way Farina was going to back down in that situation.
Sounds more like you just don't trust the Hydroarchon.
Well, what's your opinion? I must admit that she can be interesting at times.
Anyway.
Liking her doesn't mean that I'll blindly agree with her. All right, I've answered your question. Now, it's time you answer mine.
Wait a minute, did that answer count?
Well, I say it does. But don't worry, you won't hear any pointless questions from me. In your opinion, do you think it's right to treat a trial like it's an opera?
Well?
And why would that be?
Doing so makes it easy for the truth to be to fall by the wayside. Something serious like a trial shouldn't be treated like an entertainment.
See, Silver and Melus? I told you they'd be different.
Most astute of you, Demoiselle. I too think that the traveler's response was most excellent. No matter how wonderful the script or how fervent the audience's expectations may be, the trials that go on stage here must be based in fact.
Based.
And if that can be done, boss, then...
All right, that's quite enough, Melus. Anyway, I like your answer. You pass with flying colors.
В смысле теневой бан? Ты о чем? Сейчас гляну. Да нет. Так, показатели скрыть сообщения модераторов. Так, с ошибочкой. Ну, бывает. Ладно. Взял, забанил меня на 2 сообщения, разбанил. Реально, фу. Кто так делает вообще? Я бы, да, бесстыдники. Мне интересен ее дизайн. Я хочу повнимательнее рассмотреть его. Мне хочется сбоку посмотреть. Конечно. Мне нравится шляпа. Мне нравится, ну... волосы, ну, я не знаю. конечно.
I need to make some preparations, following which our joint investigation shall commence. You two shall be my assistants.
Wait! Since when did we become assistants?
Oh, well, I can be the assistant. Sure. Or your companion if you like. I'm really not that fussy.
That's more like it.
Far be it from me to brag, but I believe that Demoiselle's intuition will be instrumental in uncovering the truth. You wish to save a friend from false accusations, and we wish to unravel the disappearances. In this sense, our goals are aligned.
Кажется, таких усиков ни у кого раньше не было. Это новая моделька усов?
You have a point.
О май гад.
And what about you over there? You seem like you've got something.
Мне хочется, чтобы он больше разговаривал.
I have nothing to add.
Реально? Да блин.
Oh, alrighty then.
We'll be making some preparations first. Just be sure to let us know if they start revealing Lenny's tricks. Thanks!
Задница. Ну не садись, ну нет. Ладно. Ну, что можно сказать? Она гео. Она гео. Ничего себе. Ничего себе. Да, блядь. Ну вот кто-то... О, кто так делает? Ну физика же не работает так. Ну почему у нее... Ну вот почему у нее все закрыто? Так, ну обувь мне не нравится. Я не люблю такие высокие сапоги. Их слишком заебисто снимать. Так, дальше идем. Плечи норм. Геогей. В профиль она тоже норм. Просто мне вот эти кристаллы показали, что она гидра какая-то. Гроза пришла, ничего себе. Я что, гидроархонт? О! Так, ну все, ну ее нужно выбивать. Она какая? Она пятизвездочная? Гидрососун. Так, раздеваем ее послойно. Окей. Ладно. Четыре и 5. Ебать мой хуй. Че так долго? О, боже. Успокойся, камера, успокойся, камера. Мне ее глаза нравятся, сережки тоже нравятся. Они такие, они аккуратные. Мне нравится сочетание синего такого и... Ну, в ней сочетаются три цвета. Это прикольно. Ну, мне нравятся персонажи, у которых... Знаешь, которые элегантно выглядят. У которых сочетаются цвета и вот это все. Короче, ну... Если бы она еще встала... И сделала оборот... Так, стоп. О! Покчамп. Ну, я уже стою. На коленях перед ней. Перед ее величием. Перед ее... чем? Не знаю. Забей. Чё, прям сверху ничего не будет? Блять. О.
Why would it be Hickok? We all heard that noise This rope, people.
Да, я их не заценил, потому что мне поебать. Мне до них еще недалеко, я даже не видел. Хотя они будут в менюшке, да, но мне похуй.
Sorry, but no one can freely enter or exit the Opera House at the moment.
No, we're not leaving. We're representing. Were you always guarding this entrance?
Yes, after the Chief Justice gave the order, everyone coming in or out must undergo a strict inspection. So, the missing girl couldn't have left from here. At least, not from that point on. I doubt there was much opportunity then either.
How can you be so sure?
Well, because I was in charge of security near the entrance at that time. I couldn't see Lenny's performance from here, which was quite a shame. Just my luck, but still, I did not abandon my post. And I stayed put no matter how loud the applause was. If someone had so much as even approached the door, I would have noticed we Melusines are good at that sort of thing, you know.
Мелюзины.
So, it's safe to say the girl couldn't have left through. All right, thank you for your help. This'll be.
Вон. Дальше что? Наверное, мне нужно обсуждать все, что я нашел с людьми.
Everything of note here at the performance venue.
В смысле?
Paimon wonders how Lenny's discussion with the guards is going. Let's go see, shall we? Ooh, things are getting interesting, huh? We're about to see how magic is made.
Тильтр.
Speaking of that, I think magic shows would be very popular in Poisson.
Poisson. Что за poisson?
I can see
Это где?
that. Maybe I should try to learn some magic. If I could make things disappear, cleaning my room would be a cinch.
You need not worry about such things, demoiselle. That falls under my duties.
Oh, right.
Demoiselle.
Speaking of that, I think
I can see that.
Блять, понятно.
Maybe I should try to learn some magic. I can.
You need not worry about.
Oh,
Понимаю. Бывает, случается. Ладно, пошли. Воу-воу-воу-виво. Воу-воу-воу-виво. Да ну нет!
Understood. Then I will be going with you. Just so you're aware, I will be monitoring your actions and making notes as necessary.
Very good. Thanks for being so agreeable. I'd pull a rose out of my hat as a gift for you if I could.
You may spare the pleasantries. I'm just doing my job.
I'm just doing my job.
you've arrived.
Боже.
Who's this?
Кто, бля?
Me? I'm Spina di Rosula's guardian angel. If you've got a problem, I've got the
Сука,
firepower.
как я их люблю, блять.
Sorry, got a little carried away there. Call me Navia. I'm a partner of theirs, and will be helping investigate this whole situation. And these are my companions. Would you mind if they join as well?
Fine by me.
Yeah, fine by me.
Oh, new helpers? I would be most grateful.
Well, let's just say we're tagging along. It's not every day you get to see the secrets behind magic performed on such a large scale.
I appreciate your kind interest. Come with me. We'll be heading below stage.
Huh? Below stage?
Yes, a world of secrets is hidden beneath this magic box, prepared specifically for this switcheroo trick. But before I reveal everything, you should have a look first. Notice anything strange here?
No, there's not anything stranger.
I'm not trying to be dramatic. Remembering the details of a trick will help you understand the methods used to perform it more easily.
Huh. Weren't there balloons and other decorations here? Where did all that go?
Ah, good eye. That said, you're still far from discovering the answer.
The back? You mean the inside of the door? What's different about it?
Very good
True.
indeed. I thought you might not be able to catch that, given that you were sitting in the first row. The back of this door was patterned. Those patterns are now gone, replaced by a smooth wooden board. So, if you put 2 and 2 together, what do you get? Exactly. All right, let's go. I'll...
Hmm.
Oh, so there was a passageway under the magic box!
I knew you'd figure out most of it as soon as you saw this place. The 2 magic boxes are positioned right above the 2 entrances of the tunnel. See this flatbed trolley? The box with the lucky audience member in it would be shuttled over to the other side using the trolley.
This trolley can raise and lower and even rotate, ensuring that the box will face in the right direction.
I see. So that's the purpose of the box inside another box.
Precisely. The inner box would descend after the audience member was put inside and be moved along the trolley, all while the outer box would remain on stage as if nothing had ever changed.
So that's how you did it!
Once the box was lowered, the trolley would store some energy through this device here, with which it would complete the rest of the audience member would only be able to feel some slight movements in the dark, and by the time she walked out, she would already be back on stage.
Right! You were talking that whole time, and you even came out for a moment near the end!
Ah, yes. A phonograph operated by Lynette was used to achieve that effect.
Ну, фонограф.
My assistant and I had already scripted our conversation beforehand. When the countdown began, I had already gone to the opposite box via a tunnel using that ladder.
Стрим подвисает. Только Геншину. Ну, уменьшь качество. Ты уменьшал качество? Пробовал?
And what about Lynette? Where was she?
А у тебя какой браузер?
I was in the mezzanine space in the back of the box.
Oh, interesting!
That's how we were able to coordinate Lenny's lines with the assistant. And, by the way, I was the one who walked out of the box at the end.
Чё?
I mean, we are twins. All it takes is a change of clothes and no one can tell who's who.
Что?
And that's my favorite part of this trick. Only Lynette and I can perform it.
А?
So that's how it all worked! Wow! Every
Бля,
detail
нужно было
you
это
revealed was
заскринить.
more amazing than the last!
Окей, хуй надо... Что? А? Работает, когда... Что? Ага. Блять, подожди. Главное, норма работает, когда браузер свернут. Хуй надо... Ладно. I can tell... Стоп, мне не нравится, что они... О. Как этого звали актера? Крис... Байл... Ты смотрел «Престиж» фильм? Ебейша началась. Хорошо. В прошлый раз... Ну, ты так, ты осторожнее. Ладно, бывает.
Lynette would briefly walk out of the box and then go back in, jumping into the tunnel and escaping before the box on the trolley could finish ascending. And then I walk out of the other box in the audience area, and the trick would be complete. The operative word here being would. But as you saw, Cal was in the box, not our audience member. She, on the other hand, mysteriously vanished.
We really don't know
Фильм
how
не
that
смотришь.
happened.
Ладно.
If not for that interlude, this would have been an astonishing trick. I probably never would have figured out how you pulled it off. And yet, to think that someone was able to use this magic trick to commit a crime. Could we have a look around? I think we can come up with some more leads.
This is the scene of the crime. So Lenny and Lynette are not permitted to stay here. I'll escort them back up.
Yes, of course. No need to be so strict now. I won't disappear into thin air, you know.
Не, ну навешик. Почему ты фильмы не смотришь? Что случилось? Почему ты... Что, в смысле ты фильмы игноришь? Ты чё, кринж? Фу, бля.
Thanks, everyone. We're counting on you.
The magic trick. On stage magic box structure. Блядь, out inside magic box structure. Ебать. Да потому что интересно. Ну, ты 2 часа не можешь потратить на фильм? Бля, что так много. Так, ну давайте исследуем данные. Так, ну... Линет, фембой, все понятно. Тролли. Всякие романтики, фэнтези, драмы, боевики в Апексе. Понимаю. There should be the control device for the trolley. It seems to be able to operate automatically. Okay. Не напоминаю об Апексе. У меня... Короче, в Доте вышла сокровищница в честь 10-летия игры. За каждую победу тебе дается шмотка. И тебе нужно выиграть 13 игр, чтобы получить все шмотки. Эти шмотки — это легендарные, мифические, самые дорогие вещи за прошлые 10 лет. Там есть очень красивые, очень крутые штуки. Модифицированные. Во-вторых, в Апексе новый сезон. У меня 1000 монет, то есть я могу купить Battle Pass, я могу его прокачать, получить кучу скинов. ПОЕ новый сезон. Вчера вышел. Я хочу его пройти, я хочу в него поиграть. В Геншине Фонтейн вышел. Я хочу пройти, я хочу его в него поиграть, чтобы сделать какой-нибудь обзор, может, маленький, и чтобы обсудить с друзьями, потому что, блин, у меня уже 2 человека на 100% его закрыли, весь Фонтейн, включая Фирса. И мне хочется как-то быть в процессе обсуждения. Я даже первый квест не закончил. И меня разрывает просто на кусочки, потому что я во все хочу поиграть, а мне плохо. Мне плохо, простите, пожалуйста, дорогие друзья. Return to the Magic Box Buff, да. Дальше. Что у нас тут? Ваза разбитая. Ваза разбитая. Мне кажется.
Speaking of which, why would there be water here?
Oh, Paimon knows! It's one of those tricks where you pour water into a jug and then flip the jug over only for the water to disappear. And here's a broken vase. Huh. Did the trolley knock it down while moving?
That can't be.
Но Paimon же...
It only moves along tracks from start to finish. It couldn't have hit the vase at this distance.
Paimon никогда не была на магических представлениях, она никогда не видела магию. О чем она говорит? Она что? Это не канон, неправильно все это. Это что это вообще? Боже, какие бедра, ёб твою мать, какие же бедра, ёб. Просто ауф. Что, хук?
What's this?
Looks like a hook tied to the end of a rope.
Прости, ну ладно.
There's all kinds of odds and ends here.
Perhaps it was a prop for a different trick. But why would it have been left here?
Whatever it is, let's make a note of it first.
Мне нужно это записать, извините, пожалуйста. Так, у нас в смысле, что в смысле?
Why would it be him? Whoever the murderer. This is probably a prop.
Понимаю.
Well, and taking the
Я думаю, почему-то очень много исследовать одежду.
These are the clothes that the lady chosen from the audience was wearing, right?
Разве?
Her clothes are here, but she's nowhere to be found.
Right. And do you really need to do that if you're kidnapping them?
Что? Что случилось? Подожди. А?
This is so confusing. Emma doesn't want to be a detective anymore.
Что? Что с ней? Подожди. Если эта игра меня сломает, подожди. Когда я на паузу нажимаю, хорош, она на почках даже во время паузы. Слава тебе, Господи. А, Фарузан? О, у Фарузан Дерешка. If you received this letter, that means I was unable to come back before my birthday and cancel it. At the time I was writing this letter, I was planning to go investigate some ruins and, I know what you're thinking. Oh, maybe she fell into another trap. Maybe she got trapped by another mechanism. But if one is too concerned over such trivial risks, they will find themselves unable to make any new contributions. But I am also one who learns from their experiences. For the sake of safety, I have prepared this letter in advance and the location of the ruins attached. If something does go wrong, then this time there will be someone who knows where to find me. I have a hunch that this time I'll be able to collect reams of materials and end up losing track of time. If that does occur, then bring some snacks with you and come remind me to celebrate my birthday. И плюшки. Круто. Контужен. Люблю. Люблю эту игру. Люблю Паймон. За ежедневку. У них там какой-то ивент, ну, когда ты на сайте отмечаешься каждый день. Там двойная отметка идет. Да, я не знаю почему. Ну, типа, хей, ты отметился сегодня, и поэтому мы отметим тебе 2 раза то, что ты отметился, я хуй знает. И 2 награды за день получаешь. High precision required to complete this magic show and tracks are perfect for making the trolley stay on the designated course. Не, я такого не помню. Не всем, конечно. Меня обижает, что последние несколько наград это просто мора. Типа, блядь, чел, я, сука, 30 дней подряд каждый день заходил на твой ебаный сайт. И вот за 30 дней ты мне даешь просто мору. Причем немного, сколько там, 2000? Нет, 5000. Бывшая. All kinds of props and costumes are haphazardly stuffed inside. Что это?
It seems someone could fit through here.
Could this have been...
Alone, perhaps. But if they had to pull another person with them, the space...
But there are no other ways in or out of here.
Other than those that go through the magic boxes. No in or out other than those that go through the magic boxes.
You're right. Let Paimon write that down.
Let Paimon write it down. Let Paimon write it down.
Seems...
Блядь, я пропустил, уже там написано было, ебаный рот. Подожди, стоп. Я отматываю назад. Seems we're just about done investigating. Ой, иди нахуй. Что? The trolley is crucial for transporting the magic box to the other side, and the culprit must have used this to execute their plan. Все, что ли?
Yes.
Anyway.
Let's head back up.
Вон. Блин, я думал, это будет какая-то интерактивная вещь, а не линейная. Я надеялся, что...
Well, we've ascertained the state of the crime scene.
Будет что-то типа детектива нормального, а не просто пройдись по этим отметкам и нажми Е много раз.
Let's find a place to sort out our findings once Malus returns. It seems to me that there are several things that don't add up here.
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle.
Demoiselle.
So, what did the guards say? Did the criminal escape through the vent?
They believe the odds of that are very low, since the vent leads to the Opera House's basement. The guards have checked the area carefully. No one left through the basement during the performance or after the incident, and no one was found hiding there.
Чё?
So the tunnels become like a secret chamber then. You know, like the kind you usually see in novels.
Plot thickens. Halsey's disappearance and Cowell's death are both quite inexplicable. No wonder Farina was so confident in her accusation. All the
In other words, the charges are very likely to be upheld unless we make some considerable progress.
Charges and then trial. So if the charges are upheld, they'll announce...
That's right. This is how a trial goes in the Opera House. During the proceedings, the Chief Justice and the oratrice will hear statements from both sides.
Oratrice.
That's right. This is how indemnitium is produced. The statements from both sides, the defenses from attorneys, witness testimonies, and even the audience's emotions will all be projected on the oratrice. To put it simply, it's as if the oratrice has its own will, and is a judge in its own right.
This also precludes any kind of favoritism on the part of the Chief Justice. And not that this has ever happened anyway.
Once both sides have finished speaking, the Chief Justice will make his final decision. This, too, will be used by the oratrice as a reference.
Стоп, луна... Какая луна? Не говори мне, что вот донатная. До меня только сейчас дошло. Для меня луна — это, блин, смола. Хрупкая.
Then, finally, the oratrice will be consulted by officials. The result it returns is the will of justice itself.
Huh? So that machine is the one that actually decides? Paimon thought Neuvillette called the shots.
In practice, there is very little difference. Both have always come to the same judgment. Which is why people have great faith in the Chief Justice. Ah, yes, the guards also asked me to convey that none of us will be allowed to leave this place before the trial.
Huh? What?
Because we've chosen to act as the twins' proxies. That makes us persons related to the case.
They're concerned that we might be colluding with outside parties, or that we might find outside help to disrupt the case. And even if that were not so, it could prove problematic if we happen to spread key information about the case ahead of time.
I'm ready to break out at any time.
Привет, Нарт. Привет, Фирс.
Whoa, whoa! There's no need for that! Paimon thinks they have a point.
Почему?
That said, are they providing food?
Of course.
True.
I just hope you don't mind the lack of options. I'm afraid that catering to all tastes is not in the cards, nor is any guarantee of balanced nutrition.
Ты моя любимая аудитория, поэтому расслабься.
In that case, let's just sort out our findings.
И вот второй человек, который сидит и ничего не пишет, ты тоже.
I was hoping to take you to try some of Fontaine's famous desserts too.
Я тебя вижу. Я тебя спалил. Хотя, может быть, это Фирс просто с компьютера и с телефона. Ну да ладно. Хотя нет. Да, это не так. In that case, let's just start with him, but Fontaine's famous
I
desserts.
mean, what better way to properly think through our findings than over some tea and sweets?
Tea and sweets. Yes, I shall agree.
Doesn't seem like such a bad idea after all.
Breaking out.
Just kidding. Paimon will still do her best, even if there are no snacks.
What do you mean, no snacks? Of course we'll have snacks. If we cannot buy some, then we'll simply make some.
Чё?
Huh? Here?
Understood, demoiselle. Everyone, please come with me.
Everyone, please come with me. Мне не нравится вот ее платье сзади.
Wait, you're carrying a portable stove with you?
Yes, I must be prepared to meet the demoiselle's baking needs whenever the fancy strikes her.
Бейкинг, бля. За него замуж хочется
I have
выйти,
eggs, sugar, and almonds at the ready.
а с ним дружить. Типа он будет очень хорошим другом. Очень веселым другом. Типа который... Знаете, который молчит обычно. Выглядит охуительно. И иногда вкидывает очень смешные шутки.
Good work, you two. Then I'll get to it.
А его нужно переодеть... Его нужно переодеть в костюм горничной. Спина де Расуль. Нихуя себе. В смысле депортировать? Я ж хороший. Клирол. Депортировать. Да, депортируйте меня, пожалуйста, в Канаду. Я вас прошу. Или в какую-нибудь... Куда? В Шотландию. Скотланд. Я хочу в Скотланд. Или в Швецию. Бля. Ладно.
I was applauding.
I was applauding. Блять. Oh.
And I was giving encouraging smiles.
Paimon was just thinking. Aren't you worried about getting your fancy dress dirty, beating egg whites and baking like this?
Well, I don't think it's carved in stone anywhere that fancy ladies can only read books, sip tea, ride horses, and play the piano. I just really enjoy making snacks. Don't underestimate beating egg whites, by the way.
You're the
It's a
fucking
real arm workout.
tastiest snack
You also
out
need
here.
to beat them to just the right consistency, or your macarons will crack.
Macarons.
Give these a try, fresh out of the oven. There's 3 for each of us.
Only 3?
Ебать, Паймон охуел.
Well, eating too many sweet treats might send all that sugar to your head. You wouldn't be able to think clearly about the case on a sugar rush, would you?
Tea is ready to be served as well. This is Demoiselle's favorite. Strong black tea with a floral fragrance that clears the mind and lifts the spirit.
Thank you. Why don't you take a break?
Concern, I'm merely doing as I should.
Блять, я так хочу, чтобы у них были, типа, актеры озвучки с акцентами персонажей, которых они озвучивают. Это было бы так охуительно, блять. Вы просто не представляете. Вот такую диверсивность я хочу, а не ту, которую заталкивают нам в горло.
We can assume that Lenny and Lynette were not alone within it. Some criminal also occupied its sealed confines. The magician twins could have committed the crimes, of course, but they lack any logical motive.
Exactly! Why would they do such a thing right when everyone was watching?
The flower vase and the thud we heard during the performance could indicate some altercation between Halsey and the criminal in the tunnel.
Да.
Resulting in the shattering of the vase, the discarding of her clothes, and her abduction.
То есть ее изнасиловали?
Perhaps the criminal thought that since she was chosen from the crowd, she would be too easy to identify if she was still wearing the same clothes.
Paimon thinks that makes sense, but the real trouble is...
True. None of the clues we found thus far support the existence of this third person.
Я про него забыл, что там было. Сейчас я посмотрю. А, с Мантис Вайн, да. Хорошо, круто, неплохо. А мне еще нравится, типа, видосик сравнения Ешки Итера с Ешкой Невилета слитой. Типа, сравни свою пуколку с моей волыной. None of the clues we found so far support the existence of this third person.
The only people left to consider are both technically victims. Whether it's the missing girl, Halsey, or poor Cowell.
Кто такой Халси?
Could Halsey have secretly made modifications to the magic props in order to murder Cowell before making her escape?
That's right. And even if she had tampered with the setup, she would need to understand the entire trick to pull it off. Nor does she have any motive. The guard said that she has never had any dealings with the Magic Troop's members.
Were we not thorough enough in our search? From the sound of things, this is turning into an impossible case. Your macarons are amazing, though, Navia. They smell great. They're nice and crisp and super sweet.
They are my specialty, after all. And I see you've already had 5 of them.
Сила 5?
5? Oh, that can't be right. Paimon only counted 3. On it.
Please don't worry about it. At my age, a few less sweets might actually be a good thing.
Она...
No. Being greedy is one thing, but Paimon knows how to count. Besides, Paimon knows that if she ate too many, then others wouldn't have enough.
Oh, it's fine. Every note, no emotion.
Wait, even you don't believe Paimon? How could you? If Paimon ate those 2 extra macarons, then may they turn into stone in her stomach.
All right, we get it. Well, I suppose one of us might have gotten too engrossed in our chat and eaten them by mistake. No big deal. Maloose, set up the stove again if you would.
Huh?
Making sure everyone gets 3 macarons, of course.
Exactly. We don't want to trouble.
As you wish, demoiselle.
And I have the egg, sugar, and almonds.
Сука, блядь, Сильвер, я тебя обожаю.
Well, this really is your hobby, huh?
Стоп, что с глазами Паймон случилось? Пропустил.
Well, that's it for snack time. I'm going to have another look around the area.
А, у нее они резко открылись просто. Моментально.
I don't know what we're looking for yet, but we've still got some time. It would be awkward if you got all tongue-tied on stage during the trial.
All right, thanks for your help and for the snacks.
It was nothing. A small task for the Spina di Rosula. Silver, Maloose, it's time to go.
Ну вот мне вот это не нравится. Она выглядит как... как сороконожка сзади. Ну вот как у жуков бывает сзади вот хитиновые покрытия, которые раскрываются и там крылья. Вот мне не нравится, нет. Фу.
It's time to put our heads together. We've got to get our defense ready for the trial. Oh, it's probably gonna be a long and difficult case. There's no point in worrying about that now. We just need to prepare. Here, take Paimon's notes. They should help you review the situation.
Вот сука, ладно. Пэ-пэ-пэ. Бывает, понимаю. Так, wait until the trial the following day. Не хочу ждать кукарача. Я хуй знает.
Why would it be him?
Что?
That size wouldn't have been a problem for Paimon.
Капитан.
There was no third person. And
Капитан.
Paimon didn't eat more than 3 macarons either. However, the murder. This
Too slow.
Так, стоп, я что-то не понял.
tree.
Народ уже в цирке, я циркую. Ёпта, бля. Так. Они отмечаются? Окей. Некоторые вещи отмечаются. The perpetrator could have left through here, but bringing the young woman with him could have been tricky.
The wind rises.
Так, ладно. Давайте подумаем. Ук. То есть... Как дела, капитан? Цирк будет потом. Я хочу... закончить этот квест. Мне не нравится, подождите. Опера хаус и тоннель. Ага. Курицу с пюре и поспал после обеда. Нормально, ты, конечно, отдыхаешь, хорош. Так, я не хочу ждать следующего дня. Мне кажется, что я должен... Эзмонд.
Go ahead, have a look around.
Да-да-да, короче, на чувака во время представления упала... упал не контейнер. Вот эта вот штука, заполненная водой, то есть несколько тонн его раздавило к хуям, и он сдох. Нет, мы пытались доказать, что это несчастный случай, но это не несчастный случай, это убийство.
If you do encounter Miss Halsey, please...
Это не может быть несчастным случаем. Все слишком продуманно. Мне не нравится этот звук. Типа вот...
Lenny's magic tricks were the stuff of legends, but the way...
Look, doing magic tricks is one thing. Pulling...
Там трактор реально. С вами даже поговорить нельзя, у нас столько бесполезные NPC-шки, что с вами просто даже поговорить это фу кринж. Эсильдор. Исильдур. Это, короче, отсылка к этому, к колечному властелину. Знаете, такой фильм был? Может, кто-то смотрел? Барт 258. Да, короче, этого чувака можно было назвать, вот это Нарт, а это Барт, он хуесос. Он типа был главным злодеем. Пирес, Фирс, тебя капитан зовет.
apologies, but access to...
Мне похуй, бля. Ебать, пудель, нихуя себешечки. Нихуяшечки себешечки. Натальную... Что, блядь? Анальная карта? Подождите, что за анальная карта? Расскажите мне тоже. Так, что, у нас нет выбора тогда, походу, да? Ну, это хуета какая-то. Просто я не могу ничего нажать здесь. Типа, бляло. Ладно, 8 часов. Его надо зашить. Participate in the trial. Так, стоп, что-то поменялось. Блять, стоп, нет. Подожди, нет, подождите, нет. Нет. Нихуя себе. Да нет, подожди, не надо. Я не хотел про... За что?
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette, at least we will be supporting them from the stands.
Фу, блядь.
Besides, I doubt Farina understands any more about what happened than we do.
Thanks, Navia.
Best of luck to you.
Фу, бля. Что за хуй тут ты смотришь? Единственный нормальный контент, который ты потребляешь, это мой стрим, понимаешь?
No. We're already very grateful that you were willing to help.
Well, now, don't you all look disappointed? Don't tell me that your investigation came up empty-handed. That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence, but don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most anticipated foe, concede so easily.
Just you wait.
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident is now in session.
Он был бы нормальным, если бы ничего другого я не видел. Что? Ты сам понял, что ты написал? Так. Objection!
For the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney explain the trick?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the necessary items have been prepared.
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, I take your statement to be that you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus could not have committed the crime. Is this correct?
Стоп. Так. Это тень, ты не понимаешь.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina, do you wish to refute his statement in any way?
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Lenny is clearly lying.
Они реально сделали, сука, Эйс Этерни.
There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder
Капитан недушный, заебал.
In fact, I'd say you were hardly in that tunnel at all.
If you were to abduct and murder Kyle, you are not at all.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so?
Что? Нихуя
If I
себе.
may ask,
Окей.
what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any kind?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard it.
Huh?
Hey, hang on. Something's not right here.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box, and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. You never know what
Какая
can
игра?
happen in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it seems his alibi can also collapse in the blink of an eye. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot be
Серьезно, это
unfounded,
Genshin.
and my foundations
Impact.
are rock solid. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
House of the Hearth.
The House of the Hearth?
Чё?
No wonder they did something like this.
Certain audience member.
The serial disappearances were the Fatsui's doing. Now it all makes sense.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
То есть они русские? Братья мои, российские друзья. Так, мне эти весы напоминают игру под названием... Подскажите, пожалуйста, название. Карточная такая. Там еще нужно ходить и этот... с зубами. Типа и этот... Как она называлась? Inscription. Да. Да, нет. Что-то не то. Что-то не то. Inscription, кажется. Да. Да. Ты S пропустил, фу, бля, капитан. Бесполезный. Спасибо.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute. Your first priority
priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discord, I suppose. This was almost too easy. Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
Hey, Lenny, why didn't you tell us this before?
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth.
Hearth — это, кстати, не сердце, это очаг.
Are these claims true?
Plus, Child is here in Fontaine along with the other house operatives. There must be some scheme at work here. I've been a victim of such schemes before, and now...
Please answer my question.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
А можно я что-нибудь скажу?
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
What should we do now?
Permission to speak, Your Honor.
Granted.
Granted. My client has withheld some key information.
In that case, what is your request?
I request a brief adjournment. There are things that must be discussed.
Is that really necessary? They're already as...
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
Order! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn.
Order.
This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more professionalism than I thought. In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to stay for a little while longer.
What the fuck, Lini? What the fuck, bro?
Well,
you fucking liar.
Awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig all that up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Paimon doesn't know where to start. We trusted you two. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't bad guys. Not to set the wrong tone or anything, but Paimon's really mad.
I'm very sorry. I know you've clashed with the Vatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just hearing the word is enough to make you upset.
Ты не видишь, я посреди суда, я в суде, блядь, понимаешь? Я не могу тебе, ну вот, карточная игра хорошая, да. Она интересная, она затягивает, у нее очень интересная, необычная история, которую нужно пройти и поиграть самому себе, ну типа не без спойлеров, только попробуй это сделать, потому что там реально crazy. Там, да, это вот нужно сесть и вот так для себя поиграть, а не как ты, блядь, в Dark Souls 2 нахуй играешь, а я включу вики, сейчас посмотрю, расскажу вам, как играть в Dark Souls 2, так, нам нужно всех убить этого торгаша убьем, сбросим его с крыши, нахуй, да, заберем его ключ, чтобы открыть проход и забрать самые сильные вещи. Фу, бля. Да, с Дискордом. Я знаю.
But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
Right now, we want to save people. As many as we can.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends.
Вот это меня смущало. Я вчера пытался сказать, что меня смущает трейлер Геншина, где показывает, что просто Арлекин ими управляет, Арлекина.
That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some details instead. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort than we need to.
Арлекина, Арлекина. Эх ты, какова цена за смех? Арлекина, Арлекина. Эх, молодость моя. Это был 1981 год, когда Пугачева была на пике популярности.
Right. So, you be the judge. Heck, if I were you, I fear that I'd even struggle to trust me at this point. You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. All by coincidence, too. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal.
Not in this case.
At least, not in this case.
Не, ну я, конечно, много чего натворил, но эту я не убивал.
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Well, you both say that, but... Right. Let's hear your answer.
Of course. I'll answer any... We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick with the objective of getting close to the core.
Is that why you needed a whole...
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which the core is stored.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room and was about to investigate, I heard someone's voice, which should have been impossible, of course. I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreated the way I came. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought. After that, the homicide occurred.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized crisis.
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. I swear, I didn't hide anything from you this time. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust either. But like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Fatui, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Вау, у меня есть прям право выбора, доверять ему или не доверять.
Okay.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly against you. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a seriously watertight Huh?
The abjurement son of... В смысле? Lenny claims that he heard the chamber Oratrice core upon entering the tunnel did not witness the crime taking place. Lenny claims to have heard a mysterious voice within a chamber that houses the Oratrice core within the Opera House underground structures. Дайте мне побегать еще. Где мой... Ну, сундуки хотя бы дайте. Ну, где мой дофамин, алло? Мне нужно... Ну, что-нибудь дайте, какую-нибудь плюшечку. Ну, боже мой, что это за суд такой жесткий? Пиздец. Continue the trial. And the nail-biting trial.
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention at this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linny's perspective.
Based on the opposition's account of events, you can identify loopholes in their statements. Use the evidence clues obtained during the investigation to refute any erroneous assertions. The fact that replace them with new. Okay. Use your refutations to convince the audience that obtain more support from the people. The oratress will display such steps correctly. When you find and refute all incorrect content, you can complete the cycle of refutation and unveil the truth. Нихуя себе.
As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel.
Okay.
When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that the sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that he could not hear the sound. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught Linny red-handed. So Linny proceeded to knock him out too before stuffing him into that box. Afterward, Linny passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that Cowell's death would be ruled an accident. And there you have it. That's the truth behind what happened.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady...
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events. What Linny experienced and what he saw.
Нихуя себе, Итер заговорил. Так, ну, что я могу сказать? Lenny claims that he headed to the... В смысле? Вы конченые? Ладно. У меня только... Ладно.
According to Lenny, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel. He couldn't have had that altercation with Halsey.
Lenny entered the tunnel.
Lenny went to the room that contains the Oratrice's core. This is the actual...
When Lenny returned to the tunnel, the crime had already taken place. All Lenny saw was... During the switching performance, audible thump.
Lenny did not take part in the underground altercation.
Sure.
Attention!
Ah.
Yes, Detective Paimon has something. When the countdown started, Lenny did indeed go into the tunnel. But he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the Oratrice is stored. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. Since he felt something was amiss, he returned immediately. The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again. And in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there for any length of time. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the accident happened from his point of view. Therefore, he's innocent.
А, понял. Ладно, похуй. Successful refutation. Success.
Paimon did it! Paimon actually managed to say all that! Wasn't it awesome?
Подожди. Все еще 8 из 9? А что я не... А чё, в смысле? Там меня это так бесит, вот это вот 9 из 9, нахуй идите.
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing.
That's right!
My reasoning?
The onstage equipment was clearly tampered with in a premeditated fashion.
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill? Assuming that what you say is true, Lenny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case. What would the point of killing someone on stage be?
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you tell him!
Какая?
That's why they're partners of mine. They've managed to turn things around.
Oh, well, your denial is very strident, I'll give you that. But what proof do you have to back your claims?
How you refuted Linny's alibi initially?
Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, you're saying that he wasn't?
Your claim has now become my weapon. Что? Что, блядь? During the magic show entrance to the exit. Ну, вот это, наверное.
That's right! Lenny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. That's why he didn't... This means that when the crime happened, Lenny had already entered the basement. The same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof! How do you like that?
Well played.
GG, well played.
To think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Lenny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
The murderer was. Select answers and fill all the empty gears to verify the correctness of your deduction. The Gardas investigation report indicates that the fireworks released near the end of the show. If Lenny is no longer under... Блять, иди нахуй, нет, подожди. Lenny gave a detailed account of how the trick was supposed to work. By using a box inside a box, what was the original plan for the performance? Иди нахуй. Having changed her outfit, Lynette and her assistant would take charge of... А, блядь, я просто думал, я его отправил сюда. The clothes belonged to Hazley, the lady who went missing, were found in the tunnel. The reason for that remains unknown. And the only person who could possibly have committed the crime.
Could there have been a third person involved? Is that... Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member. The deceased's name is Cowell, Lenny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. Halsey is the missing person and an...
The guards' investigation indicate the firework released at the end of the show ignited and burning through the rope suspended the water tank above the stage. Я не понимаю одной вещи. Если это каул, то... Почему девка еще не нашлась? То есть, да, допустим, это каул. Он сдох. Девка переодетая где-то сидит. Может, она боится того, что она убила кого-то, но она не знает, что она убила кого-то. Поэтому она может просто выйти и сказать: «Эй, я жива, все в порядке». Каул девка не может быть, потому что она не могла... Тут третий. Да в смысле, блядь, ты ёбнулся? Да в смысле ты ёбнулся?
That can't be right.
Oh, is that so?
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to victim. No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. So where would the criminal have wanted to take Halsey?
Envisage Lenny as having been unable to interfere with the crime.
The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well. Linny was not in the tunnel at that... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. So there must have been some fear that she would attract attention. The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
How can we envisage Lenny as having been unable to interfere with the crime?
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment.
How can I prove that there was an altercation in the tunnel?
The sound we heard may have come from a clap.
Who is the prime suspect currently?
The deceased's name is Cowell.
Where did the missing Halsey go?
Halsey's clothing was in the...
Блядь, иди нахуй. Тогда вот эта
No one
хуйня.
entered or left. It would have been tough for both people to... No one entered or left. It would have been tough for both. No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. So where would the... It would have been tough for...
Да ты ёбнутый, блядь.
No one entered or...
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
I see how it is. So this was all just a bluff. And here I...
Look, since we're at a dead end, just like the trick is it...
If only we knew how
Мать,
Halsey
блядь.
disappeared.
Just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must have been utterly different from the magician's initial design.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits, and none of them seem very likely.
The tunnel had only 3 exits and none of them seemed very likely.
It's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you did from that water tank, Lynette.
Could it have been the water?
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you not see that the crowd is growing impatient? There
is no greater sin in this opera house than an awkward
Блять.
delay in the performance.
Эта игра идет нахуй за то, что заставляет меня проигрывать. Ёб твою мать, я ненавижу это. Я ненавижу проигрывать. Я просто терпеть не могу проигрывать. Просто ненавижу. Objection! Hold on a second.
Lily was not in the tunnel at that moment, the sound we heard may have come from a clash, but the deceased's name is Cowl. The vase was not broken by chance.
Я ненавижу быть лузером, я ж, блядь, ну нет. Я всю жизнь такое, я не хочу.
Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind. If there's a similar method where a person...
Just a moment, please. How could a person ever be transformed into water? This is reality we're talking about here, not some magic trick. Must we really? I should think that of anyone. Your friend Linny already knows this truth very well. Magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But Halsey's disappearance is very real. We're talking about two completely different things.
Even so, I trust the traveler. The truth must be out there somewhere.
В смысле? Ты, блядь, знаешь, как работает? Ты ж, блядь, ты же этот, ты ж сам этот, ты этот же сам же. Ты же знаешь, как работает вода.
Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings, would it?
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope. The way I see it, your suggestion that we broaden the scope of our investigation is nothing but a tactic for stalling the trial.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, I believe that additional evidence may help us make more progress. Guards, please step into the lounge and examine the personal effects of the
After some time, a guard returns with news.
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage, each labeled separately. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are water from the primordial sea.
The primordial sea.
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that he had an accomplice. The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword dissolve appears many times. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. It is empty. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontейне. It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test subject.
Но Линет не из Фонтейна.
As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact, supported by sufficient evidence.
Как она исчезла?
You gotta be kidding! People dissolving into water?
Could something so ridiculous actually be?
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy.
If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And if Cowell was targeting that girl...
To hide water stains.
Wait just a minute. Could that mean... You two, with me! Quick!
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some surprising results, but we cannot yet verify the veracity of these clues. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic. albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has yet to be found. Guards, please continue it. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence, so please continue speaking.
4, 3. 3. В смысле можно? Ты о чем? У меня вообще 0. Live chat. Сэр. Где ты можно увидел, в смысле? Мощно? А, мощно. Ну я сейчас уже перепутал. Ну чё ты этот, иди нахуй. А сейчас 4. Я сам себе лайк поставил, потому что я пиздат. Я заслуживаю лайки.
If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues can be connected together.
Right! Like the metal hook! That one didn't make sense at all. Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
Скрин сделай. Utsk. Who is the prime suspect?
The deceased's name is...
What item did the culprit the timing of the dissolution?
Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. Did she have something to do with this? I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box.
Timing of the dissolution. Timing of the dissolution.
The water from the primordial sea should already have been prepped before Halsey entered the magic box. The water from the primordial sea. Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick, but was instead some form of trigger. The water from the primordial sea.
To hide the mechanism behind the crime.
I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that.
Хорош. Изичайшая просто. Да нет, ну не настолько, ну не настолько, ну нет. Ну не настолько очевидно же ездить у них, ну блядь. Ну ёбаный рот. Оу, 5 лайков. Сусамба. Да, я увидел. Так, ну нас смотрело только 3 человека. Ну, точнее, нас могут смотреть только... Сколько человек? Ну, смотри, Да, ты понял. В группе только 3 человека. Я не понимаю, откуда 5. Ну, 1 я поставил.
And the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down and dissolve Halsey. Afterward, Cowl would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up by the water tank on stage. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel, and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his tracks.
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the more confusing pieces of evidence.
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now. Have I thought...
Now, it seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact circumstances that led to
Почему она
Cowell's death.
молчит?
His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to the situation.
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating I shall now invite him on stage to share it with...
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage of the other people involved in this case, and we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Lenny's personal effects.
What?
That can't be.
Хм.
I see. Well, how wonderfully comedic.
Где была Линет? Линет же была... Чё?
Does this not clear all doubt? My dear citizens, my loyal audience, allow me to present my reasoning and bring this performance to a swift close. Lenny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via the vent. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowell then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial sea. But upon his return, in cruel avarice, Lenny desired sole credit and prepared to do away with his partner in crime. Ultimately, he knocked Cowell out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became a murder weapon. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion, it does seem that the famed Fatui is quite the cold-blooded and ruthless organization. Am I right, Mr. Lenny?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. There's no way for us to make a rebuttal here. Is this the end of the road?
Is this the end of the road? Пизда нам.
Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move.
I think we've all seen enough now. And we have ample witness. I believe this is indeed the finale.
А нет, не увереночки там.
Then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we not, in your view, move...
Excuse me, everyone, but I must interject.
Miss, I must ask you not to shout, and to respect the ongoing legal proceedings.
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take a little break from all this debate and see a little magic? I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh, right before your very eyes. Please, do the honors, Mr. Lenny, if you would be so kind.
What in the world is she saying?
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth while presenting a fascinating illusion. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to today's performance? Come on, Lenny and Lynette, give it another go. Don't worry. Spina di Rosula has made the necessary arrangements on your behalf. But as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave the final performance to you.
I understand.
Что understand?
And voila.
Что?
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the whole thing...
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence. I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me. And then before I knew it, she caught me.
That'll teach you to underestimate us three.
Where should I begin? I'm sorry. I'm the one who killed Cowell. I admit it.
What? Why?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt. I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket, so I stole one. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there. And I'd never been caught before. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away. Lenny was the one who caught me in the act.
Hey, no wonder you look familiar. So you were the thief.
Типа, почему она не показала до сих пор себя? С тем, кого разъебала танком. Чё? О чем ты? Подожди. Танкер, да, танкер с водой. Его разъебало.
Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was on to me for sure. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance costumes.
Секунду. Tanker. There was nowhere to run from there. I thought I'd change my clothes in a box containing performance
I
costume.
slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
If they're practically hand at concealment.
But I swear I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Really, I swear it. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lily-Ann's perspective.
Lily-Ann's perspective. Stop. Lini entered the tunnel. After the beginning, afterwards he used the ventilation shaft to leave the tunnel, did not participate in the solving of the young woman. Cal planned dissolve Halsey inside the magic boxes. Halsey has appeared completely unharmed before our all eyes. Constriction no longer holds, and how it Halsey have reacted. During the switching performance, there was an audible thump. This device was used. A rope has fallen on the ground. A metal hook has been tied to one rope. Lenny wanted all the credit and glory and wanted to get rid of all his partners. Halsey.
The flower vase was not broken to cover anything up, but was smashed Lillian was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and hid, biding her time. Just what one might How would Halsey have reacted? The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was Lillian's attempt to break out when she was frightened.
Yeah, yep.
And it's Ace Detective Paimon time! Having been selected out of the blue, Lillian panicked.
Почему пробелом нельзя пропускать эти диалоги? Ну боже мой, как они меня бесят.
So she kicked the door open, producing the thud we all heard. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the tunnel, only to discover that Lillian had not dissolved. He did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was a thief who made her way in by stealing a ticket. Mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time to take effect, he tried to force Lillian back into the box. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian came out on top, knocking Cowell out and putting him in the box. With no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the costume trunk until the performance ended.
Но почему Кауэлл хотел спрятать следы, поэтому он поделал... А, да, точно, все, понятно.
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped two of them right under our noses. Talk about a sneaky thief.
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel have now come to light.
Ah, so that's the whole story.
Bravo! Bravo!
Sasamba.
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against the defense's statements? Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
What? Are you reading my mind now? No, I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
Wow, look at that! She's like a deflated balloon now.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events. The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide the watermarks. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontейне and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided to proceed. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box, and thus became his own final victim. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the opera house, and was thus ignorant of these happenings. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Linny, the accused, is in fact innocent.
Они нихуя не сделали, что amazing.
While there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated separately, this case at least can be handed over to the oratories to make the final decision.
Что? Не, ну это буквально уже Старрейл.
As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
Great work, partners. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard Vaughn. How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's baggage?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that not a discovery, but false evidence that you dared to bring before this court?
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yes? I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity to do so.
The higher-ups?
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups, yes? Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek the protection of the guards.
Yes, I'll tell you everything I know. Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean, this is the boss we're talking about. The...
Now he can no longer talk.
Блять, как это Люди Икс?
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
So, we're just going back now? That's true,
Traveler, Paimon, please wait.
Просто типа иди
I
нахуй.
know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end. Even after you learned that I'm a member of the Fatui.
Traveler. I just wanted to be sure that we're square.
I guess. But regardless, I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then.
Отец. Otets. Otets.
The knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering, would you mind hearing a story? It's about my past. Back when our parents first died, Lynette and I were left wandering the streets. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. It took me several days to figure out how he pulled off his amazing tricks. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner, and we began to perform magic tricks there. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. But I didn't want my sister to... Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first, too. As if fate was on our side and we could say goodbye to those painful days. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the streets at any rate.
It took a while for me to realize just how dark his heart really was. After one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. I went to that noble's bedroom and asked him about her whereabouts. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be able to perform your magic regardless of who your assistant is, yes?
Oh no. So he was gonna... But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such people?
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care, and they have their ways of escaping the eye of the law. I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person and hurried through the night. But by the time I leaped over the walls, all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood, and the knave standing there in the darkness.
So, she'd already taken care of that guy.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement.
Нихуя себе. Это очень темная, странная хуйня.
Father, I mean, the knave, might have seen something in me, and so she made me an offer.
Father. She.
The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. Indeed, betrayal shall never be permitted here. I was hesitant to trust her. I mean, I had just been betrayed by nobles. But she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first, giving us back our freedom.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
She has her own plans. She has gained permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis's power once she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
So, she believes in that prophecy too?
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working to combat that crisis. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water, thus further supporting the prophecy. All of us house members here, Lady Arlecchino herself included, are from Fontaine. We won't give up on defending our homeland.
То есть он из Фонтейна, но он Фатуи. И Арлекино тоже из Фонтейна, но она Фатуи.
To us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world, apart from our family, is our homeland.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing a gnosis, everything is aimed at dealing with that prophecy.
It's all right. I understand. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the house, I have never stopped making my own decisions, and that I believe what I'm doing is right. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me. I will do my best to help you, as plain Lenny.
Что-то, блин, Итер жесткий. Итер какой-то прям, ну... A twist. Yeah, baby.
Why would it be? Digging who? Doesn't seem likely that anyone clever than murder.
Итер. Идер. Пиздец, короче.
Hey there.
Они поменялись
What was with
местами.
the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navi?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to solving the serial disappearances case, though. Don't you think so too?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's wrong, my dear partner?
My dear partner.
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who can crack a case that's been cold for decades now? And given that there's new evidence from the trial, there should be a trail of breadcrumbs for the Hydro Archon's people to follow now, right?
Ah,
Ah.
I see. Well, I won't lie. I'm a little shocked to hear that from you. But I suppose you are just travelers who have only arrived in Fontaine after all. Sorry. I might have been too presumptuous.
Aww. Бедняжка.
Don't say that, Navia.
Aw, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth, and the reflection in the murk to become clearer.
Ладно, у меня ноги раздвигаются.
Sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to nostalgia. Don't mind me. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to commemorate our time as partners?
Huh? Do we really need to get that formal?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. That way there are no regrets later. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm. If Boss Navia's treating, count Paimon in!
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we return to the court of Fontaine and head to the Hotel Dobro? I believe we'll make it just in time for dinner.
All right then, let's have our farewell.
Бедный Нарт, реально. Но она прям в сердечко, конечно, вот этими фразами. The люди. Блять, слава тебе, Господи, этот квест закончился, боже мой. Бедный нерд. Бедный Март. Бедный Карт. Бард. Я на свободе, ёб твою мать, я могу сделать дейлики и отключиться нахуй. А, мне же сегодня нужно пофармить эти бивни, точно. Ля, ладно. Плясать хочу, нет, подождите.
Relax.
Так, делики.
There's no need to exchange pleasantries. It's rather pathetic to...
Точно нахуй. Ой, ебать, мой хуй, спасибо.
force a conversation.
Ну это жестко.
Quit following me.
Где, чё, блядь? Где?
Squall Fury. The wind rises.
My guiding stars.
No, my sword.
No, my sword. Так. Бля. Бывает. Я не хочу в Dark Souls. Такая залупа параша ебаная. Просто пиздец. Залупендрия. Блять, терпеть не могу эти делики. Ну ладно, похуй. Где вторая? Так, вот вторая. Если бы они использовали в этих деликах механики, которые у них уже есть, которые они придумали уже со стелсом, которые у них были в... Где? В квестах. То мне было бы норм. Но они ведь этого не сделали. Что они сделали правильно? Они нихуя не сделали. Потому что ты не знаешь, насколько близко ты можешь подойти к врагу и не быть замеченным. Давай, сука. Раз. Два. Три. 4. И последний делик у нас, как всегда, здесь. For the Harbingers. За Харбрингеров. Эх. Так, я знаю, что я хочу сделать. Мне нужно опрос провести. Кто в чате? Отзовитесь. Так, не Фирс. Ты любишь мультики? Until the sun comes near. Until... Oh yeah. Отвечай, сучки.
Add Thank you for...
А в мультики любишь?
Add Astro...
Too slow.
Until the sun... Чё? Ты можешь на вопрос ответить? Айбал. А ты любишь мультики? Понимаю.
Squall and fury.
My guiding stars, don't be scared.
Truth repeats its course. Rain outlines your fate.
Quit following me.
А, бля, понимаю. Сучка.
That's far enough.
Да ты серьезно?
Not now.
Бурятский, да. А вообще... Ну, типа, старый диснеевский, Pixar, Джимли. Типа, не полноэкранные, а неполномерные, как они называются? Почему?
Wind rises.
Я хочу, чтобы они телепортировались ко мне. Ну, блин, ну ты пэшнись. Ну, пожалуйста. Мы заебали.
My guiding stars, stars.
Behold.
Интересует, что почему тебя не интересует ничего в жизни, ни фильмы, ни мультики, ничего, ну что, ну как это так? Фирс. Геншин и бурятские мультики. Тек. Да, конечно. Я разочарован. Но мне нравится здесь музыка.
Not now.
The wind rises.
Хорош.
Don't be scared. Ears of the storm.
Wretched vermin. Behold.
Ладно, еще одну проведем. Ну, это одна из самых мерзких бездн из гидроаппликации.
We'll see about that. Hold. Lines of command.
The wind rises.
Хорошо. Мне нравится, что типа первые данжи, они все с негативными эффектами. Типа заряжают тебя негативными эффектами, а новые данжи, типа, хей, ты наносишь больше урона, хей, у тебя больше навыков, хей, у тебя там... Это смешно. Инхан! Блять, серьезно, только одну выбил, ёб твою мать, ладно. Бывает. Случается так в жизни. Да.
Too slow.
Так, мне нужно, кажется, возвысить ее оружие. То, что я могу сделать. Вот так вот. Теперь мы делаем вот так, как-нибудь. Нажимаем на P. Оружие. Так, нам нужна книжка. Вот это. Возвысить. Нам уже не хватает. Ладно, понимаю. 6, так 6. 2, так 2. Здесь возвысить. Как эта книжка переводится? The we... Вид стих. Вид сихт. Ситх. With ситх. Где Лайла? Руза. А, у нее синий мяч. Отлично. Блин, красивый мяч, слушай. Песен странника. Ща мой сраник запоет, ебать мой хуй. Блять, сколько же дрочить-то, сука. Я поэтому не возвышаю оружие, потому что это просто пиздец. На ком можно проверить DPS из врагов? На каком-нибудь... Вот это и на чувырле. DPS. Ну давай попробуем на самураев Тарасуня. Татара сауна. Мне нужно синчу поменять на пенета. Шинча.
You want me on your...
Бля.
What's one?
Get out of here! I'm going in! Too late for regret! Truth repeats!
Squall and fury.
Ну, 32 тысячи. Допустим. Че ты ржешь? А, мне нужно восстановить энергию. Да, ладно. Бывает. Во-первых, сколько я потеряю? Я потеряю 600, 400, 150 урона. Нет, стоп, сколько я потеряю? 1999. И я потерял 300 урона. Теперь мне нужно 100%. Что он в первый раз сказал?
We'll see about that.
Он хилку завязал? Он что, в Dark Souls играет, блядь?
Too late for regret.
Окей.
The night is cold. Teamwork is dreamwork. Dare to mess with me?
Бля.
Don't be scared. Gears of the storm.
The wind rises.
Get out of here! Why do they never miss?
My guiding stars.
Too late for regrets.
dare to mess with me. Have fun with this gift. I'm going in. Oh, mine's at the moon. My guiding stars.
Squall Fury.
36. 35, ну совсем не то. Этого не стоит. Ладно, на этом все. Спасибо большое за просмотр. Всем до свидания, до завтра. Смотрите, я уже закрыл на 2,6%. В принципе, Фонтейн. Осталось еще немного, и мы можем удалять Кеншин с компьютеров до выхода следующего обновления. Люблю, целую. Любите себя, берегите любимых. До завтра.